Mr. Jim Man. How was
Yes,
that, Jim, for
that's
an introduction?
perfect. I don't think
I
there's any more.
say what?
I don't think there's any more of me.
Yeah, well, hey, I told you I used to be a man before I got married. That was my maiden name.
Ah,
So
yes.
there's probably some more of you out there, but there's only one of you, and that we appreciate. So we are here today for Testimony Tuesday, talking about your recent interview that was released yesterday with Mr. Chris. And this is a Chris of a different kind. Normally, we talk about Chris Work a lot. He's a great friend of Healing Strong. But this gentleman is Chris Lawrence, and he founded Hope Has Arrived. And he shared his story of cancer and the journey of that. And the theme of it is hope. And so, what did you experience? I mean, I'm sure you walked away feeling very encouraged and hopeful, just
Yeah.
in general, because that was the theme of his interview. But tell us, Jim, how was your how was your time with him?
He's a very happy, outgoing, positive outlook kind of guy, which is always refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a common thread with cancer thrivers and survivors where they have a positive outlook. They're excited about life. They have purpose, um, and they see themselves healed because they have hope, which obviously he does, since his website is called Hope Has Arrived. He heard about Healing Strong through our friend Bailey O'Brien, I believe is how he came across us, because he gathers stories of cancer survivors, just like
Mm-hmm.
we do, but he has the website, hopehasarrived.com, and he puts them on there. And he's supposed to be getting my story soon. I'm lagging in connecting with them there, so it's my fault. But um, I'll be interviewed by him coming up here shortly. But he lives in one of my favorite states of Colorado,
Mm,
because it's so beautiful,
it
and he's
is.
very outdoorsy. He's a journalist, healthy. Another common thread usually that people think they're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And they are, generally speaking. I mean, he's outdoors, he's eating the right thing, he's constantly hiking and taking people on tours and excursions. And then, it hits the best of us, or the best of them. I wasn't as healthy as he was. Um, but, and it's just like everyone else that you think, oh my gosh, is this the end? And he was pretty young. And, but then he had hope through a doctor, a research doctor who said, "Hey, I can deal with this. I can do this. You're going to survive this," which is very unusual. I shouldn't say very, but it's pretty unusual. Doctors normally just go with statistics and say, "Yeah, you got this much coming at you, and you have this much chance of surviving." But this doctor was like, "Hey," afterwards, especially, he says, I did what I could, but this was obviously God, because
Mm-hmm.
you did well and you are thriving. And so he's taken that valley, turning it into something positive and helping others, just like Healing Strong.
Mm-hmm.
So it's two organizations that have kind of connected through stories, which is what we're all about. And of course, the difference with Healing Strong is we have the groups, the support groups, which obviously he appreciates, but helping people along with the journey as we gather stories, and then kind of educating them with what's available, what they can do about their own story. Um, and we're not giving diagnoses and telling you have to do this. We're just showing you the options, showing you the big picture, and encouraging you, and coming alongside. So I enjoyed it a lot. Chris is a great guy. We would probably be best friends if I lived in Colorado. He told me not
Yes,
to come.
I can see you on the mountain hiking with him.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe a little slower these days, but still, it's just great to be outdoors. And
Yeah.
that's health right there, being
Mhm.
outdoors and all that great Colorado air, which you have that in Utah too, in the mountains, I'm sure.
We do, and there are inversions in both of our states that we often have to consider as well. So there's always still something to just be aware of. And really that's the point of sharing these stories, right? Is to make you all aware that there's people out there who have walked the path before you, or walked the path before your aunt or your uncle or your grandma, whoever you know that's diagnosed, because that in and of itself is more of a common theme, that all of us are connected to somebody we know who has cancer currently or who has had it. And so I loved hearing about his website, Hope Has Arrived, too, because it is a need and something that does encourage and inspire us, which is why Healing Strong's so passionate about you interviewing these people to share these stories and give hope. So if you didn't hear it at the beginning, he does have a website where he collects stories from people around the world as well. Whereas we have stories within our organization, it's more set within our small groups that we have within the US and internationally, and using this podcast to now share, especially this year, focusing on those connected to Healing Strong in some way. And he knows somebody within Healing Strong, and that's how we got connected. But we're going to start sharing more stories of those within our organization, either as a group leader like yourself, Jim, or Bailey, or the last couple weeks have been Paige and Judy, and highlighting real people with real stories. Because this year we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary. So,
What?
Jim, do you want to give details on that?
Yes, we're gonna be in Houston, Texas at September 29th and 30th. And it's gonna be a great time. It gives you plenty of time right now to plan, set that weekend aside,
Mhm.
and the weather's gonna be perfect. I can feel it. Um, but yeah, after a long hot summer, and of course Houston is that's kind of the southeast part, isn't it? Of
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
it won't be cold. It's but hey, it's just barely into Texas. It's that first city, the first big city you come when you're heading west. You know,
Yeah.
Texas takes up like half the country.
I know. It's a big one.
In fact, I looked this morning, my sister lives in Pampa, Texas, which is up in that little panhandle up there, and I thought,
Mhm.
that's a whole 'nother day's trip. So I guess I won't be going up there.
I will be driving. So,
Well, you'll
I'm
come.
making it a road trip, and I plan on bringing my girls, and hopefully my husband's able to come. So we're going to make it like an experience and have fun with it. And so don't let the enemy try and tell you stories on, well, I can't do this, I can't afford a flight. Find a way. I'm sure there's somebody who's near you that you can start to carpool with, maybe. I don't know where you are, but Texas is somewhat central, and so whichever direction you're coming, it's not going to be as far as going from the complete west coast to the opposite end at the east coast. So prayerfully you're able to make it, mark it on your calendars. You get to meet Jim and a lot of us who are a part of Healing Strong. And that I I don't know how to describe what it's like being around other people who you can relate to, who can encourage you, who understand, um, that just like-minded community. I feel like that is something you can't explain because it is just so life-giving. I mean, it's what fellowship is, right?
Yes, definitely. That's gonna be the best part of it, of course, is just kind of
Mhm.
networking and getting to see each other face to face and sharing our stories. And of course, it all ends with a worship service about
Mhm.
giving God the credit and the glory for how He's put all this together and how He is, of course, the ultimate healer. And
Yes.
that'll be coming up on that. I guess it's a Saturday night on the 30th, so it's gonna be a great time.
Yes. All right, and we will end there. So check out Chris Lawrence's episode. We're sure it will give you some hope, and if anything, more hope and more inspiration through the stories he's collecting too. So it's another resource for you to go get inspiration and encouragement, and to pray about like what the Lord would lead you to do, because like Jim said, we're not here to tell you what to do. We're here to provide you tools and stories of people who have done it. And so it's possible. All right.
That's right.
I think I will let you go, Jim. You may go and have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed day. Thank you for
All right.
coming on.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you
And
later.
we'll see you. Yes, see you next week. Bye.